Hello, my name is Mike Smith. I'm here to teach you chainsaw safety refresher at the beginning of the hurricane season. Okay, first we're going to go over what we wear while operating the chainsaw. We'll be wearing our structural firefighter helmet with our visor engaged. If we're working on a roadway, we'll wear our vest, our gloves. We'll be additionally wearing chap pants, and we'll be wearing our Wildland boots.
What's up, everybody? Ian here. Just reminding you also of one of the most overlooked PPEs out there. Hearing protection. Either these or the ones the department gives us, wear them every time.
Next, we'll go over the parts of the chainsaw. So some of you, this will just be a refresher. For others, you might learn something here. This is the bar. Chain, obviously. Chain should be run a little bit tighter than people have been thinking it should. This is how you adjust the chain. You loosen this bolt and stick the end of your bar, your chain wrench in there, and you'll feel it. It'll click in, and if you turn it clockwise, it'll tighten. Counterclockwise, it'll loosen. Then we move back here. This is your starting mechanism, your choke. If you press the trigger, push it all the way down, you'll feel it go into choke. Pull the chainsaw one time, it should fire off. Move this lever up one, and then that's in your action position. Pull it again, it'll fire off and it's ready to go. Underneath this cover is where your carburetor is and your spark plug. If you remove these three bolts, it comes off and you'll see it, and it's easily replaced. It's just a quarter turn. Put your new air filter on, turn it back the other way. Same with the spark plug. If you do replace the spark plug, just hand tighten it and give it a little snug on the small part of your chain wrench and put the wire back on, and it should be good to go. If we come around this side, this is where your oil goes, your bar oil. This is where your fuel goes. It's 50-to-1. We've all seen the red cans that are on the engine. You should be able to go through 2 tanks of fuel per 1 tank of oil. There is another color can floating around there. It's gray. It's the same 50-to-1 mix. It's just the stuff that came with the saws. If we move it around here, you can see your chain brake. We don't want you activating this chain brake by pushing it down with your hand. We want you to use a wrist motion, which we'll demonstrate here in a little bit. Okay, so we want to talk about a little bit about being safe while we're using the chainsaw. So one of the areas of the bar and chain we want to avoid cutting with or making our initial contact with is this area right here. This top portion of where the chain rotates around the bar. That's your kickback area. If you're running your chainsaw and the chain's activated and going around and you hit something with that in that kickback area, you're going to get kickback. There's nothing you can do to stop it. That's why it's very important to have 2 points of contact on your saw when you're running it. First forearm stiff and out and locked. So if you do get kickback, your whole body will absorb it. Like I said, you're not going to overpower kickback. To avoid this, we want to keep most of our cutting in the bottom 3/4 of our bar here so that we stay away from this tip. Okay, next we want to talk about if we have an incident and we have to use the chainsaw. We want to kind of compare this to if we had a vehicle accident, so we're going to use some of the same terms and hot zones and warm zones. So first off, we want to say that if there's a way around this and we don't have to cut, that's what we want to do. We want to find a way around. If we can lay a hose line around or have a patient walk out or take another road around to get to the call, we want to do that. We want to minimize our time hands on the chainsaw. But if we can't, then we're going to set it up just like this. Lieutenant or whoever's in charge will do a 360 of the scene or of the area that we have to cut. To add to that 360, we want to add to look up. We want to look for hanging branches or a tree that's, looks like it might fall on us while we're working and shifting wood. So that'll be in addition to that. Once we've decided that we have to work, this brown dot says where we have to work, we're going to set up our zones. Warm zone circle, which is basically going to be where all the crew is going to stand waiting to drag brush. Our hot zone here, where the cutter who's running the chainsaw will be doing the work. And then our escape routes. So an escape route is basically a 45-degree path away from the action area where the cutter can safely back out and not get injured in case there's some shifting or some falling of limbs. Cutter will come in here, do some cutting to where he thinks it's just enough, stop, activate his chain brake, back out his safety escape. Then crew comes in, moves that brush, and then LT or whoever's in charge of the scene that day will determine if it's just enough or if we have to, reestablish and do some more work. So just a guide on how to cut safely and, try to avoid some injuries.